Blake, you come in here and you bust your butt to learn the triple option, and now you're going to have to learn the wing T. Tell me how it's going.
It's going well. I really like Coach Cronic. He has a very clear vision of what he wants, and it's very easy to execute when he's telling you exactly what he wants. You know, and it's like you said, it's been interesting learning 3 new offenses in 3 years. So coming into spring, you know, ready to learn, done it before, so sort of similar to how it was last year, just picking up as much as you can.
Is there some carryover from what Navy did in option, both in the previous regime and last year, to what you're doing now? Is there some carryover?
Yeah, there's like slim pickings from both. So it's a little bit of what we did last year, a little bit of what we did the year before. So, and then a lot of new stuff. That's the biggest thing, and so it's fun to learn. Really, like I enjoy it every day, and like it's new, so it's fun to challenge yourself in all the timing and everything. But it's just football in the end. So
do you feel like you fit this offense? I mean, I'm going to be asking Coach Cronic what he looks for in a quarterback, what he needs a quarterback to do. Yeah. But do you feel like you fit in this offense?
Yeah, I really do feel like I fit. I came in expecting to run the triple option all 4 years, and there's been some circumstances that have changed that, but I think this offense fits our personnel really well, fits me well, getting on the move, being able to run, and I've worked on my throwing a lot, so it may have came in as a weakness, and I think it's grown a lot since.
Well, like Coach Cronic told us when we had our first meeting with him, that when his offense is most effective, they throw the ball well. So you're gonna have to complete passes, I believe.
Yes, sir. Of course, we throw the ball a lot right now. We've worked on a lot of different pass routes, and so I think we'll be a good team. We can complete the ball.
What do you want to work on, or what have you wanted to work on ever since the end of last season to make yourself a better player, a candidate for the starting job come fall?
Yeah, so the biggest thing was just getting healthy after my injury last year, and since then it's working on the timing of things, the footwork. Like I said, exactly what Coach Cronic wants to see out on the field. He has a clear vision. So the throwing's been the biggest part just since I've come in. And then just working on my leadership, as a team, as a quarterback. So.
And how do you feel you're coming along with that?
I feel like I'm coming along well. I feel like it's been going really well this offseason. Rehab took a while, but right after, hit it in stride, so it's been going good.
And you're full go? You're not at all limited in
Nope,
any way?
Full go. It's been going good.
As you move through the spring, I mean, where would you say you are as far as learning this new offense, and do you feel confident that by the time the spring camp is over, you'll be up to speed?
Yeah, I think it was a challenge in the beginning, just especially with the timing piece of things. There are a lot of moving parts, and you have to hit everything exactly where it needs to go. I think we've made a lot of strides in just 4 practices. So I think by the end, we'll be flying around. There'll be misdirection, a lot of things defense are going to have trouble with.
Braxton, I'm going to ask you some of the same questions I asked Blake.
Okay.
You come in here, you bust your butt to learn an option-style offense, and now you're having to learn a wing T offense. How's it going?
I think it's going pretty good. It's definitely a work in progress, getting better each day. There's a lot of similar things, but there's also a lot of things that are different that we're learning, in the film room. So just coming out here, making the mistakes here, so we'll be ready for the fall.
So, I mean, do you feel like you fit what Coach Cronic wants to do? I mean, obviously he's looking for a certain type of quarterback, who has certain skills and can execute certain things. Do you feel like you fit with what he's looking for in a quarterback?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like I can do all the things that he's asking us to do. I don't think it's far out of my reach. Just understanding it and knowing when to do what. That's what I'm working on now.
In terms of, Coach Cronic told us when we had our first meeting with him that when his offense is most effective, they throw the ball well.
Right.
It's an important element. Do you like that? I mean, I think you're a guy that's one of your calling cards, being able to.
Yeah, 100%. I love to throw the ball. Just coming out here working, figuring out the different reads and things like that, making the mistakes, like I said, out here, getting the timing right with the running backs and the receivers. So doing all that here, I think that's perfect.
So, what did you want to work on since the end of last season? What is your focus of, I'm sure you met with Coach Jasper after the season. He told you got to get it better in the X, Y, and Z. What are some of those things, Braxton?
Some of those things, just fully engulfing being a quarterback. We talk about that in the room. Like, being a quarterback is more than just being on the football field. It's being in the locker room. It's being in the weight room. Just fully taking that in and doing all the things that the position calls. And
so, with the wing T, I mean, did you have any experience with some of what the concepts that are being used? I mean, anything in high school that's similar to what?
Yeah, I mean, we had a few things in high school that were similar, but obviously this is the college level, so there's a lot of different things. But with the help of Coach Cronic and Coach Jasper, we're picking it up pretty well.
So in terms of leadership, obviously that's kind of what you were talking about from what Coach Jasper was saying. How do you, I know you're just still a plebe, going to be a sophomore,
right,
but do you feel good about where you are with the leadership piece of it?
Obviously, I think there's always work that could be done in the leadership aspect of being on the team. You know, I think it's just a trust thing with the guys. You got to get the guys to trust you before they'll follow you. So once I feel like I build that trust and I get them to get them on my side, then we'll be ready to go.
Drew, first and foremost, how is it going with installing your offense? Is that you're making some progress?
Absolutely. We've got smart kids, right? They pick up things. It's a new style, and their brains are swimming a little bit. We're trying to take our time, you know, and just work along. There's a lot left. I mean, but we've probably got 25% of it in. We were able to do some things before spring break, you know, just in getting out here and walking through, and then having the 2 helmet-only practices before spring break. So we're making progress from that standpoint. We just got to clean up a lot of little things. So,
who do you think the transition's hardest on? Offensive lineman or skill position guys?
Probably offensive lineman. I mean, you know,
doing a lot of different things.
Yeah, and they you know, when you have to work as a 5-man unit, just everybody getting on the same page, everybody taking the right step. There's all kinds of chaos going on. I think that's what takes some time, and you see it in spurts out here. You know, the first couple days of practice, it's just putting all 5 guys together consistently on each play. You know, but they're definitely improving every day.
So one thing I was concerned about or thought about was last year when Coach Chestnut was putting in his offense, you know, the defenses remain the same. It's the same philosophy, same I mean, carried over from Coach Newberry to Coach Volker. And I have to worry about the same thing. Is the defense ahead of the game here? Is it hard to run your stuff, or I mean, I saw some plays today where the offense got the defense.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, certainly they've had their system in place here for 5 years and done a great job defensively. So it's very challenging, which is good for us offensively to see that. And there's I was giving Coach Volker a hard time earlier today. I mean, our first day at pads, they were lined up in a bunch of stuff,
right,
and doing a lot of things, which is good. I mean, it's good for us to have to do that, but that, you know, you got to learn and you got to see it and you got to be able to adapt to it. And they're not going to be a defense that just lines up and stays still. They're going to move around on you. They're going to slant and they're going to bring guys off the edge, and that's their style of play. You know, so we got to be able to adapt to that. And you know, but the bottom line was, you know, today I felt like they attacked us better. Just their mentality and their approach, and I thought they bounced back. We did some better things Tuesday. So the challenge, I talked to the guys at the end of practice, is how are you going to respond now on Saturday, and, you know, try to get better and look for ways to improve and take responsibility. And it's a good bunch of kids. I'm enjoying working with them, and I believe in them.
So now on to what I'm writing about now, quarterbacks. What are you looking for in a quarterback? What does a quarterback have to do in your offense?
Well, we can be pretty versatile. It can be you know, it doesn't have to be one kind of quarterback.
Right, you're not trying to put a square peg into a round hole.
Well, and so like the 2 kids you just talked to, you know, those kids are you know, Blake, you know, Blake is smart, he's fluid, he's got speed, he's really improving as a passer. Braxton, same thing. Braxton's a longer kid, he's really rangy. I saw him make some really good throws today. So those 2 kids have, they have enough talent for us to develop to execute our offense in this conference. But their heads are swimming right now. You know, it's a lot going on, and we want to be as dual threat as we can be at the position. You know, we want to be able to make open throws. I think what we do offensively gives us a chance to have some open people in the play action game, and we got to be able to hit those throws. You know, but that guy being able to run and do some option stuff and us design some things where he can get in space, obviously, is a big weapon to have. So I think both those kids can do both things. It's going to be just getting comfortable and learning footwork and the nuances that go with what we're doing. And but those 2 kids have a chance now. There's no question. I mean, they have some ability, and they're smart kids and they're good kids, and they want to do it. You know, so it's exciting to work with them.
Well, that's what I was kind of thinking, that the footwork and ball handling skills for what they were doing with the option are a little different than what you're asking them. So that's probably been a key element for a quarterback, is learning different steps, different ball handling elements.
100%. You know, there's a lot of nuance with some of the wing tee stuff. And we're still asking them to do some of the same things that they have been doing. But now there's some steps, there's some angles, you know, there's a lot of timing with our motions So there's a lot of things that they have to understand that have nothing to do with even reading a defense. You know, it's just getting their bodies in the right place so that they get the other players going in the right direction. You know, so those things will all happen over time, and the game will slow down for them some, and they'll just be able to go play. So right now they're having to think about a lot of things.
I guess the first question I would ask you, you spent your entire life coaching triple option football. Now wing T.
Yes.
Football's football, and you're a smart coach. I would imagine you're picking it up, but at the same time, it's different, huh?
It's different, you know, they're picking it up. Coach Cronic is a great guy. You know, he's a great coach. He's very knowledgeable. You know, he's been a head coach, so he knows how to lead a room of men. You know, so that's been the best part about it. But yeah, learning a lot from him. You know, getting way coaches everything is clear and concise. You know, the kids are responding, and we're excited. We're very excited.
So I'm guessing when it comes to coaching the quarterbacks, the first thing you have to do is sit down with Coach Cronic and find out what does he want in the quarterbacks. What do you need to teach that's different than what perhaps you taught in the triple option system?
No, he's in there a lot. He's in there a lot and talking. I sit back and let him lead the room. You know, and I'm learning from him. And you know, I have a question here or there. And if I have something I need to add, I'll add it. You know, so I mean, he's a wealth of knowledge, but also he listens. You know, he wants our input. You know, so it's been a great learning experience for me. Great transition. You know, I'm learning, getting better. You know, the main deal is getting these kids ready to play, and make sure that they're coached really well, know what they're doing, and go out and can execute the offense.
So do you go back and look at Mercer film and some of the film from other schools that he's been at to try to see how he utilizes the quarterback, what he's got the quarterbacks doing?
Yeah, the biggest thing is, you know, just as far as throwing the football, being more mechanically sound. You know, making sure that, you know, their footwork is more concise. Everything is calibrated, you know, as far as when the ball should be out of their hands. You know, so it's fun. It's fun. It's fun to learn. It's fun coaching because yes, it is different, but it all comes down to again playing good football, making good decisions. You know, we've been, you know, throwing some picks here in practice, which is never good no matter what you're doing. So there's a little bit of a learning curve, but the guys are picking it up. They're excited about it, you know, and we're pushing forward.
So how do the two most experienced quarterbacks, the guys that have played, Blake and Braxton, how do they fit into this wing T offense? Do you feel like they can execute what Coach Cronic wants them to do?
Yes, they can execute it. I mean, they're good football players. You know, good football players can fit in any offense. It's a matter of coaching them up and what they need to do. Show them all the looks, their technique. You know, getting everything down to precise footwork, and they're doing it. But again, still have to learn some. Some growing pains here and there, but they're getting there. But again, they're both good athletes, both football players. They both can throw the football. Blake's got so much better throwing the football, you know, and that's a huge plus.
So, irregardless of what offense you're running, at the end of last season, I'm sure you talked to each of them about their strengths, their weaknesses, what they need to improve upon, regardless of what offense they're running. Let's start with Blake. What did you mentioned throwing. He had to get better throwing, and he told me he thinks he's vastly improved in that department. Anything else with Blake?
Blake's biggest thing is when the lights come on, he has to show up.
Right.
You know, there's sometimes last year, you know, he have a great practice, a great week of preparation. Then he kind of gets in the games, and you know, he's kind of like a deer in headlights sometimes. You know, and
the turnovers. So we talked about that.
And he understands that. You know, but again, he's getting better at it. He's been really, really good so far in practice. He's seeing some things, and I just got to take that and take it from now, you know, obviously into the fall, and take it to Saturdays. Braxton, and again, Braxton's biggest deal is he has that big arm mentality, tries to force a lot of throws because the kid does throw the football well, but he has to understand he can use his legs to make it so much better. If it's not there, don't force the football, put it down and run with it, you know, so there's not much option, you know, so now it comes down to being mechanically sound, you know, as far as what we're doing with our ball handling, but also making great decisions in the passing game. And that's the biggest thing both of them need to improve on.
So, what do you think of the wing T so far? I mean, I would imagine there's some similarities. I mean, I think the design is the same. You try to do things that make it tough on the defense. You're trying to, you know, get angles and make your blocking advantage. Is there similarities to what you've learned your whole life as an option guy?
Yeah, it comes down to understanding what we're doing, make sure that our kids know what we're doing, and put them in a position to be successful, obviously, and also make it hard on the defense. You know, I've already heard about our defense guys saying, man, option was great, but this wing T is even hard to defend because
there's so many elements.
So many elements, so much moving around, you know. So again, the biggest thing is just making things look the same, but it's very different. So it's fun, and we're learning, and we actually be pretty good come fall.
So beyond Blake and Braxton, because I know they're getting the bulk of reps, and when you win the scrimmage, they got all the reps. But Well, actually, number 3, I think. Who else is other quarterbacks that maybe have caught your eye?
Well, right now it's just Luke Hutchinson.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Luke.
And again, Luke again. The biggest thing with Luke is turning the football over. And Luke is having a rough time right now. But again, the William Ingle though is promising. He's a quarterback / B-back, but he's coming along. But again, he's really raw, but he's so athletic, and the kid wants to be great. He wants to learn. So they're both going to come along. But again, the main thing right now is to make sure that Braxton and Blake are ready to play come fall. We're going to need 2, but you'd love to have 3, and obviously 4 would be great as well.